This is the latest in Caribbean news and international sports from the Carib Update News Service. I am Randall Joseph reporting. Heavy rains associated with Hurricane Tomas are continuing to fall in parts of western Haiti late on Friday, amidst increasing fears about flash flooding that could trigger another disaster in that troubled island. Hurricane Tomas flooded the earthquake-shattered remains of a Haitian town on Friday, forcing families who had already lost their homes in one disaster to flee another. Driving winds and storm surge battered Léogâne, a seaside town of Port-au-Prince that was near the epicenter of January 12 earthquake and was 90% destroyed. Dozens of families in one earthquake refuge camp through thigh-high water to a taxi post on high ground, waiting out the rest of the storm under blankets. The growing hurricane with 85 miles per hour wind was battering the western tip of Haiti's southern peninsula and the cities of Jérémie and Les Cayes. At least 3 people have already been reported killed while trying to cross swollen rivers. Steady rain turned the streets of the capital into flowing canals that carried garbage through the city. Further north in Gonaïves, a coastal city twice inundated by recent tropical storms, police evacuated more than 200 inmates from one prison to another. Aid workers are concerned the storm will worsen Haiti's cholera epidemic, which killed more than 440 people and hospitalized more than 6,700 others. Meantime, our correspondent Sharon Williams has been visiting the disaster areas in St. Lucia and now tells her story in her own words.
Now, going into the worst hit place in St. Lucia, which is Soufrière, which has always been called the breadbasket of St. Lucia, and that place, it's amazing how much damage in that area alone. Unconfirmed reports have it that there are 15 dead in St. Lucia, including a tourist who was washed away and his body was finally recovered the following day after the hurricane. But in Fort Saint-Jacques, in Soufrière, it's a small community that was established literally on the side of a mountain. And the mountain literally came down on them that night. The rivers burst their banks, that everything just came sliding down, literally. I've never ever experienced anything like that. They're actually in Fort Saint-Jacques being evacuated because the government has determined that that place is unstable and the whole place could still go, so they're being evacuated. There's one thing I must tell you, the stench of this place, and I thought it was rotting garbage until somebody enlightened me, and he says there are so many animals buried under that mud, and with the moisture, everything is decomposing. It's a horror story, really.
Thank you very much, Sharon Williams. Cuban authorities say Friday that all 68 people on board a Cuban Aero-Caribbean passenger plane were killed, including 28 foreigners, when it crashed in a central province overnight. Rescuers began pulling bodies from the wreckage after using a bulldozer to plow through thick vegetation to reach the crash site, the town of Gusimal, in Santi Spiritus province, about 210 miles southeast of the capital Havana. The Cuba Debate website published a list of the 40 Cubans and 28 foreigners from 10 countries who were on board. The foreigners, many thought to be tourists, were almost all South Americans and Europeans and also included one Japanese. Aero-Caribbean is a state-owned regional airline. The reason for the crash is yet to be determined. That's the region and that's the world. This has been a production of the Carib Update News Service, a participating company of the Hamlet Media Group. I am Randall Joseph.